Okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk real quick about one of my favorite features in Katmai, and the Katmai GUI anyway. There are actually only two features that are really good, and this one's going to be the multiple server query, or querying server groups. Now, one of the tough things about working in SQL or with a lot of databases really uh, is getting results back from a lot of servers. So here's this server, here's this server, but to get a concatenated or a merged result set is very difficult because these are two separate connections, and it's if you have a lot of boxes to keep in sync, then you have to round robin every time you want to install a new SP, or every time you want to query for failed jobs, or query for backups or something like that. You have to go from one server to the next. Well, what Katmai does, it allows you to go into your registered servers and run a query against an entire group of servers. Now, I'm not going to run it against all of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new group. Somewhere along here there's a new server group, and I'll just call it all servers. It's not all the servers, but that's what I'll call it. So inside of here, and unfortunately they didn't do this as well as I'd hoped. It's still a small price to pay for the functionality you get, but I was hoping that they would have a master instance here. But so inside of all servers, I actually need to create a new server registration with my first box. I'll go ahead and use Windows authentication. I always test it. Save. And then in here again, I need another one. Again, I always test it. That's fine. Save. So I can take these servers and I can move them in there, or I can register them again in here. Now, at least they give you the opportunity to register multiple servers. That way, you can have different servers in different groups. I mean, I could have one of these servers in 5 different groups or 20 different groups if I wanted to. But it would be nice if it were a master instance. So what happens here is these are actually separate registrations. So if I were connecting, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. If I were actually connecting here with a different login, or if I needed to connect with a different login, then I would actually have to go by and change it here and in any other groups that it exists in. So that's kind of a downside to it, but if you don't change your connection properties that often or ever, then you shouldn't have to worry about it. So now I've got my group defined here with all my servers in it. All I got to do is make sure that the all servers group is highlighted, and then hit new query, and you notice up here it says all servers and then master. And now when I run my query again, sure, now IntelliSense comes up. Now I get my concatenated results, and life is good. If I wanted to do something, well, anything else, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I could say here and say create procedure group test as select server name. Okay, and you see down here it says query succeeded successfully. Now this red down here tells me that it's actually connected to both of these servers. When I initially did this, you notice here, I come up here and say query, it says connected 2 out of 2. If one of the servers was down, or if you had a connection failure to one of those servers, it would say connection 1 out of 2, and it would still go ahead and connect to the second one, and when you ran your query, it would still run it on the second one, but on the first one you would actually get an error and it would fail, but it would still do anything it needed to on the second one. So just to prove to you that it actually did what it was supposed to do, let's go in here. I believe I was in master. Ability, store procedures, and here is group test right here on the first server. I like this. And procedures, and here's group test on the other server. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Anyway, okay. So there you go. There's group admin and Katmai. Pretty good feature. I've actually used this to roll out several things to several data marts at work, and it works really, really well. It's one of my new favorite features.